So we wanted to do a little reintroduction of ourselves. When we started the channel, it was mainly our hiking adventures that we were sharing with our family. Our trail names are what we used when we were speaking about things and when we signed off.
So, given that my trail name is Plucky.
And my name is Chrome. My hair is very gray, you can't tell though. So, for obvious reasons, my name is Chrome.
So, lately we're doing a lot less hiking because we replaced our Yamaha with a 2015 Indian and then most recently a 2021 Indian. Those of you that motorcycle understand, the minute you drive a bike off the lot, the factory immediately adds bells and whistles to the next model year. So with that being said, the channel's become a lot more about travel and motorcycling and vacationing with some random hiking thrown in.
Exactly. So we're about to head out to the 82nd Sturgis Rally. And we wanted to include you on that adventure as well. So this will be our 6th time attending the rally, and it is without question one of our favorite places to go each year. So we'd love to share some of our favorite places to visit, to eat, to ride, where we stay, all of kind of our little details of what we like to do when we're in Sturgis. It's a little different than some of what you hear usually.
Yeah, I think, and everybody's different. Different people like different things. Some people are into, the big campgrounds where they never have to leave. They've got all the food and entertainment, right. Everything you want. The Glencoe, the Buffalo Chip.
Full Throttle Pappy Hoyle.
Throttle Pappy Hoyle. There's a new one. I can't remember the name. We'll figure it out. But we tend to end up being downtown more, and our campground's quiet, and that's kind of the way we roll. For the 75th, we actually stayed in Wall. That was our first time at a rally, and I'd been out Sturgis off rally before, but it's tumbleweeds. And it was just way too far away. You don't really want to be riding at night because you're still out in the middle of nowhere. Once you get outside of Sturgis and outside of Rapid City, you're in the countryside, and at night...
There's critters.
Yeah, big animals come out, and you'll be lucky if you just hit a woodchuck, but there's deer and bison out there too, so it kind of escalates pretty quickly. So after that, we found, and I don't remember how we found Sturgis View.
We actually were at the International Motorcycle Show.
Oh, that's
right. And they had a booth there, and Wendy and her son were there, who were the owners at the time.
Yep, that's right. So we talked to them, kind of, really didn't know much other than the little brochure they had, but we went out with a group of buddies that next year, which would have not been the 75th, it would have been the
78th, I think.
Stayed at Sturgis View and just tent camped. And we did that for 2 years. But it gets hot. Having air conditioning is really a perk that we decided we didn't want to live without.
Well, and there's always at least one day that's probably 90 and above. So sleeping in a tent at night is brutal.
Most of the time out there, you're in the upper 80s. It'll touch into the low 90s, but I know it just seems like every year we're out there, it's pushing 100 one day.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
And that's pretty tough when you don't have any place to retreat to. And everything downtown, a lot of places are sort of air conditioned, but most of the doors are wide open, so they're not well air conditioned. It's better than outside, but not perfect.
So the last 2 years at Sturgis View, we've actually rented one of their little cabins, which is an air conditioner, a bed. We have a fridge in ours.
Little table
and a table.
and a couple chairs.
So it doesn't have a bathroom, doesn't have a sink, so which is totally fine by us. It's basically tenting with an air conditioner, which is perfect for us.
We're fine with that. The campground is close to town. It's quiet at night, so if you come back and you want to crash out at 9:00 and you've had a long day and you sleep until 9:00, you can do it there.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many reasons why we actually really like this campground. It's quiet at night. They've got the beer barn. It's on the bus route, and which is great. Don't drink and ride because they'll catch you.
Yeah.
So for the bus to come into the campground, pick us up and take us downtown, and we don't have to ride, is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And most campgrounds are either on one of the bus routes or they have their own shuttle. So really, and there's taxi, there's the bus, there is no Uber or Lyft out there.
Yeah.
But there are definitely ways to get around, so you don't have to ride at night. You don't have to worry about drinking and riding. You can, you can be smart, you can be safe, and still have a very, very good time.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, if you want to go into town, great. If you don't want to go into town, they've got a little beer barn with breakfast in the morning. They've got beer pizzas at night, and they also have dinner, I think, most nights.
Yeah.
So, but if you're looking for an experience like the Buffalo Chip or Glencoe, or even Full Throttle, this is not that type of campground.
No, those campgrounds are they're a whole separate thing onto themselves, and they kind of turn into party cities.
Yeah, well, their own city. They are their own city, basically.
So there's a lot of people that stay there and they never go to downtown Sturgis.
And they love it.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome.
If that's the way that you would want to do the rally, you can certainly do that.
Absolutely.
There are people that stay in Spearfish, Deadwood, Lead, Hill City,
Rapid
Keystone,
City.
Rapid City.
Right.
The whole area is really overtaken by the rally for about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to just ride the Black Hills, which I think is some of the best riding in the country, you don't have to go anywhere near Sturgis. No.
And it is some of the best riding in the country.
Yeah.
So.
It's maybe more condensed. If you think about places like Tail of the Dragon in Tennessee, North Carolina, the Ozarks,
Pigtails,
some of those places. There are spots in the Black Hills that are every bit as technical, if not more technical, but in a tinier dose. You might get 1 or 2 turns that will test everything you know about riding versus a half a day of turns, like that. So it's different, but it's beautiful.
And I would say some of our favorite rides, my absolute most favorite ride ever, of any ride I've ever done in the country. And we've put on some serious miles on our bike. We usually do at least one 3,000 plus mile trip every year, in addition to Sturgis, where we just hop on the bike and we go from hotel to hotel. My favorite ride in the entire country is Iron Mountain Road. It is by far my most happy place.
And you've got Iron Mountain Road, you've got Needles Highway, there is Spearfish Canyon, which runs south out of Spearfish. You've got Van Acker Canyon, which is running south out of Sturgis itself. All of those kind of head south, and you'll eventually end up on the Custer State Park Wildlife Loop.
Which is fun. There's
super
Sylvan
fun.
Lake. There's so much out there. Even the ride from just Sturgis to downtown Deadwood is a beautiful ride through some gorgeous canyon.
Yeah, and mountains, and that's a what we would consider a highway. That's a 4-lane highway going from Sturgis to Deadwood, but it's still challenging because if you override that road, you're on the side of a mountain, and there's no good outs. It's either into the mountainside or it's off the bad edge.
Yeah.
So even the big roads out there are still in the mountains, and it's not flat land with giant shoulders and big ditches.
And you have to be aware of that when you go out there. If you're not an experienced rider, you just need to kind of take your time. Yeah. It's definitely not flatlanders, and we're flatlanders. Yeah. We're from Minnesota. I'm sure you can tell.
Yeah, we are from corn country. So where we live, the earth is flat and cut up into very even 1 mile squares, and there isn't a hill in sight.
Exactly. So just remember to ride your own ride. People will pass you, and that's okay.
Yeah. And there are lots of places on most of these roads where you can pull off. So if you feel like you're being pressured, and I guarantee it's more in your head than anything. Because we've ridden up behind people that are riding slower than us, and
that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's not. Most of the time you're following a big line of heavy Harleys anyway. These aren't MotoGP bikes, so everybody's going, a few miles over the speed limit and kind of slow rolling. So, but if you feel like you're struggling a little bit and you feel like you got a group behind you that's, seems to be pressuring you a little, maybe you just pull off and you let them go by.
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to want to pull off sooner than later anyway to take some pictures. So you're always kind of on and off the bike, and it's not a big deal. Right. Just don't go out there for the first time thinking it's the same riding you've always been doing, especially if you're from the flatter areas of the country, because we see it every year. People get bit, and it usually means a helicopter ride somewhere, and that's not cool.
Yeah, and nobody wants that for anybody.
No.
We all have family, we all have friends, nobody wants to see that. And we just want for everybody to have a good time and be safe while they're out there riding.
Yeah. And be aware of just everything around you. I mean, the animals. There are still semis and school buses and tour buses, and you are gonna come upon someone eventually who's riding too fast for the conditions, and they're gonna cross that double yellow into your lane. It's stuff you have to always be conscious of, but even more so when you're in the Black Hills during the rally.
Yeah. You need to be hyper aware, for sure. Not to be cliche, but you really do have to be aware when you're riding out there. Yeah. And I'll be honest, this is my first year riding out there on my own bike. Yeah. Usually I'm a passenger on Tim's, and I get to take the pictures. This year I said I was going to do it myself. So I am one of those newer riders out there. So I will be extra careful when I'm out there. And I'm really glad that I'm with a group of people that know what they're doing and are courteous of my abilities as well. So, if you're with a group of people, just, hopefully they're being, courteous of you.
Yeah.
So,
with that, we kind of have a full slate for the week, and we'll try to capture as much of it as we remember to and that we can, and
maybe some of our favorite rides.
Yeah, and
the train
and all the restaurants and all that fun stuff. So
yeah.
So hopefully, this will be the lead-in to a video about all our fun while we're out there.
Exactly.
So
all right. Until next time.
we'll see you from the Black Hills.
Bye.
Bye.